Go.
All right. Welcome to
Hold
our
on.
debate host.
Oh no, that's wrong.
No,
Fuck.
just listen. No. I gotta go soon. So I'll just do this right now, real quick.
There we go.
I'll just. All right. So welcome to our debate host at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. We're having a free candidates here today. Introducing Hamlet.
There we go.
Hamble, could you please give your opening statement?
Hello, everybody. I'd like to welcome you all to the debate. I'm running under the National Unionist Party with a social democratic government.
All right, is that it?
I would like to ask you all to vote NUP.
Alrighty then, cultists, please give your opening statement.
Okay, first I want to thank you for letting me come here tonight. I want to start by saying to the people and the registered voters of this Discord that we should honor and respect the two candidates that did not make it to tonight's debate due to prior engagement. You all know me. I've been your president for 6 terms now, and I want to go for a 7th. Under the candidates here, such as Hamble, are very inexperienced and have no right to be the president when they've never even been a senator. Whereas Vault Lord
I have been a senator.
Whereas Vault Lord
You assigned me as one under your presidency.
Vault Lord promised that he would never run again after his election failed last election. Thank you so much for letting me be here, and vote admin.
Alright, Vault Lord, please give your opening statement.
Thank you, Westy. Now, when I look around myself, I see incompetence all around me. A cultist. He is a dictator. He has run for 4 terms already. 3. He has run for technically 2, but was pretty much the president in his 2nd term, or his quote unquote,
Go ahead. Vault Lord.
I believe that's at the end of his statements.
Alright, as the cultist said, two of our people who are running presidency have been.
Fuck. All right, is my mic working?
Okay, now your mic's working, Vault Lord. Would you like to finish your opening statement before it's too late?
Just go ahead. It's already late. Go ahead.
As Colby stated, 2 of our people are not here because of conditions. Mostly because this debate was hosted, planned very fastly. Well, some are unknown conditions, but yeah. Anyways, how are you going to be able to solve the money printing problem? Many of our civilians have been printing money and stealing the money machines. How will you respond to this, Hamble?
Well, using the police, we will upgrade their ability to detect, and we will update our currency so that there are fraud detectors, and we can assign our police so that we can find those that are not using fraud detecting currency, because the civilians do not have access to fraud detecting currency.
Alright, Boltford, on this matter, how will you be able to,
You skipped a cult.
Cold, how will you be able to,
the money.
Counter these fraud. To counter these fraud money, and help our economy stabilize.
Well, we need to create laws that expand and help our police be able to combat these issues. Right now, they have very limited opportunities, and as such, they can only be used when appointed by the Senate. We need to be able to fix this so they can operate independently from the legislative branch. Now, I would also like to take some time to debunk this sci-fi plan. There isn't going to be some money-breaking currency. As long as there's a currency, someone's going to be able to create counterfeit cash. So we need to help build and strengthen our police force and help them when they in the need to create a fraud department.
All right, Vault Lord, how will you attack this counterfeit money that is breaking our economy down to crap?
I think we need a better police budget. Currently, the police have an awful budget. Some of them aren't able to do their jobs. You know, there was recently a bank heist in one of our big cities, and the police had to go to a gun store and get guns from the gun store to use in the bank heist. That is a catastrophe at its finest, and I think we need to give the police a better budget so they can do their job correctly.
Alrighty, very good. Is there anything you ladies and gentlemen want to say before we continue on to the next question? Nothing?
I'm good.
Alright, Campbell,
No,
is there anything you'd like to say?
I
Vault
need
Lord,
to
is
get
there
pen and paper because I need to write down this shit.
Alright, Vault
That's
Lord, is there any thing you would like to say before this
No.
question moves on?
Nothing.
No. Alright. On this occasion, the police force are becoming a little bit corrupt and are incompetent. Some of them are mutinying because of the low budget that they have. How would you like to respond to this, occultist?
Sorry about that. I was turning on a light in my bedroom. To fix this, to fix this problem, it's simple. We have to give them what they want. It's not like a protest where they're demanding obscurities. The police deserve a budget, and they deserve one now.
I'm sorry, a cult is saying that protesters demand obscurity, but most protesters don't demand
Alright, Vault Lord, you can
obscurity. They demand
stop.
what is right.
Lord, stop it! You're going too far. You are insulting the other competitors.
Are you suggesting protesters that
Occultist, you
indicate?
stop it. You may not respond to that question. Let us move on. Vault Lord, how would you respond to these mutinies in the armies and
You mean the police force?
corruption? The police force, yes.
I think we just
Okay,
I think
prepare
that-
now.
I think that we should remove some of the people who are doing this. You know, these people who are doing this, they are pro-occult. So the people, we need to remove these people because they are not doing their job correctly. They are just corrupt and in it just for money. And I do not want a police force protecting the loyal, strappable citizens that are only in it for money.
I would like to object.
Sort
to
of
this.
sounds like a mafia to me.
Alright,
I
occultist,
seem to
go
agree
ahead.
with
I would like
a
to
vote
object
on this
this.
one.
Campbell,
I would
do
like
not
to
object.
object this because our current police force is protesting against the current legislation in my government. If they were for me, they would not be protesting right now.
Where's your evidence
Secondly,
behind that?
They're not protesting. Vault Lord has stated that they are
protest
not.
the- Objection.
Vault Lord has stated that they are protesting for money, and he's implying there that's for themselves. These men are protesting for the budgets of the police to be able to protect the citizens, which will be voting in this election.
Who exactly is protesting?
I
Where's
will-
your evidence behind that?
Campbell, please stop talking. Vault Lord, would you like to respond? Vault Lord, your mic's muted. Okay, never mind.
Is it working?
Okay, now
Yes.
it's working. How would you like to respond?
I would like to respond that the reason why the police are protesting in the first place is because of a cult. His government has been a failure.
It's been
Is
clearly
this the-
stated by Westy that these are protests are due to the budget, not because of me, not because
Okay,
of
Vault,
any
stop
senator,
talking.
Good.
but the
Vault, stop it!
All right, that's it. I'm done. I'm
Unprofessional.
done. That's it.
Alright, Vault Lord, you may stop talking now. Hamble, how would you like to respond to this police crisis?
Well, purge them. We can always find more police that are loyal to the
I'm
government.
sorry, but not Cole. Hamble is directly insinuating purging and possibly imprisoning and ending the lives of our police force.
I never
was
said
never
end lives. I
insinuating-
said purge them from the police force if
I
they're
was never
protesting.
insinuating anything of ruining lives, but Hamble is. This is just showing the corruption of the candidates. during
That's
the
right.
election.
Creating
Destroy the
more
corruption where it
installing a
starts.
dictatorship.
If you give
destroy
somebody
the
power
opposition,
and they're
that's the
Hamble,
corrupt-
start
stop
of a
talking.
dictatorship.
Hamble, stop talking.
Hey,
Let-
I
let
wasn't
them
finished
object.
yet.
If you destroy the opposition, that is where a dictatorship is, and we should not be voting for Hample, who is implementing the ideas of a foundation for a dictator.
That's
Alrighty,
not.
Hamble,
That's not what a
Hamble, you may-
dictatorship is.
Hamble, you may
I'm
finish your
not-
sentence.
I'm not removing the opposition. I'm removing those that are corrupt and are ruining our police force because they're demanding and protesting over the economic terms currently.
They're protesting over the low budget.
Correct.
Of the police.
They are not
So
doing
you're
their
saying you
job.
don't want to raise the budget.
If they're not doing their job, they don't
They're
deserve to be
protesting 'cause
working
they
as a
can't
police.
do their job with the low budget.
If they're not doing their job, why should they be police? They're getting
Because they're-
paid. They might not be
they're
getting paid a
protesting.
lot, but that's their job, ain't it?
They need the money to forward their job, and they can't have enough equipment to protect the
Okay.
citizens without
Okay,
a larger budget. That is what
That doesn't
they're
matter.
protesting.
It's their job. They could request the government, but they're protesting. So
Alright,
why
Because
why
the
are they?
government has failed to
Alright,
help
guys,
them.
I need you
Oh,
to stop
isn't this
talking.
your
This is-
government that's failing to help them? That's right, it
Hamble,
is.
stop it. Hamble, stop it, or you'll get a penalty. Okay, Fall Lord. Okay. Is there anything else you gentlemen like to say before heading off to the next
No,
question?
you can carry on.
Nothing? Okay. Alright, next question. There have been new breed of rats that have been very infectious. They have cut our crops low, and more Stratpole citizens are starving each day. How do you respond to this, Hamble?
Well, a way that we could do this is by rationing off the remaining food to all the citizens of Strat Bowl. If we were able to do that, everybody would be able to have a meal, and everybody would be exactly the same. No one will be more special than another person.
That sounds really like communist.
It's not communist.
Yeah, you're
Allies,
calling-
all
Westy,
nations
you're
did
not allowed
this
to
during
call.
the
You're not allowed
wars.
to call.
You are not allowed
Wesley, you're not-
to show partisan
out.
ideals, Wes.
Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry. Alright. Okay.
And
Cool.
Okay, so I would like to start with rationing is a terrible idea. We're helping the problem by installing fear in our citizens. We should be proactive against these measures. We should be doing what we've seen countless times in other countries. We should we should be genetically modifying our food so that we will not be harmed, but the rats will, and they will slowly die off. We should proactive and end them.
Okay. Well, Lord, how do you respond to this food crisis?
I think we should start importing food from other nations, as that
And
will.
become more dependent on
and
another.
become more dependent on other nations.
We are. I'm not saying we become
Walt Lord
more.
is a puppet of the Comptonium Imperium.
How am I a puppet? I fought against the
You
the
will
monarchy
become
and the
one.
I have fought against Compton and the Comptonian monarchy when I was a president, and I will continue to do so, squashing out any remaining monarchists from this.
What
from-
legislation was passed during your time that fought the Comptonians?
None, because I wasn't able to implement anything because you couped me. You
Yes,
overthrew.
I overthrew you because you were attempting to install a dictatorship constitution, as the evidence has been seen by the court of law.
All right, this isn't even talking about the question anymore. This is just us rambling on
everyone
the
stop.
past. Anyway,
everyone
continuing my original statement, I will import food from other nations that are friendly towards Stratpole, and I will also figure out diseases to kill off the rats and spray them with chemicals that will kill the rats off.
Spray them with
Couldn't that be
chemicals.
harmful to all the citizens of Stratbowl? If you're killing a rodent, that means that something has to be done to kill them, so it could be harmful to the citizens.
We will see at the time. We'll see at the time. When the time comes, we'll see it, and when the time
Oh.
comes.
Is there
Uh,
anything anyone
May
like
I
to
s-
add?
may I add to the
I have
may
No,
I
I
add?
have nothing
yes,
left
you
to
may.
add.
Yes, you may add, Mr. Hamble.
To add to my statement, I think that the rations would help stabilize the people while we're
How
in
would
this
rationing
crisis.
food
While
Occultist, let
we're
him talk.
people.
Occultist, let him talk.
the rations would help stabilize the people while we're trying to figure out a solution to the rat crisis. It allowed for people to have food and not have other countries be dependent on other countries. If we were able to ration some of our food and stabilize our own problems by ourselves, that'd show that we're an independent people and we aren't relying on others.
All right. Moving on to the next question.
I'd like to add that
Oh.
I'd like to add that my
Well,
entire.
you may not add the question.
may not
The
add.
host has moved on.
All right. There have been recent mysterious cults forming around of someone. Many people are suiciding for this cult named AO5. Just a random name. Many of the population that are starving have been suiciding. How are you going to solve this out?
Well,
Hey, not you, occultist. Baltimore.
I will give, as I said previously, I will give the budget to our local police and National Guard to go out and find these cults, and we will investigate these cults further. And if they are treated, and if they do become a problem, we will neutralize the threat as they are poisoning the minds of our great Stratbowl people.
Okay. Hamble, how would you like to
Can you restate the
Respond.
question?
there have been multiple cults following the starvation of the Strategy Bowl people. Many people have been suiciding for these gods they call AO5, AO1, and AO3. How are you going to respond to these cults?
The government allowed for these cults to farm when they allowed for this food crisis to form. The government is to blame for these cults and all the people dying because the people have nowhere else to turn to because the government's too corrupt. The cults are the only place these people can turn to for an alternative solution from the government because the government can't help them.
And how are you planning to fix this problem?
I plan to fix it by making a stable government that can actually help the citizen.
And how are you planning to make a stable government per se?
By getting all bicameral efforts from all sides to get a central opinion on everything so that all the people aren't suffering and one side gets something and the other doesn't. I feel that all people should not be suffering because of the government's current decisions.
Okay. Cultists, how are you going to respond to this mass suicidization, suicide crisis?
I would like to remind everyone that it is a shame that in neither of my opponent's responses they have referred to our Constitution, which indiscriminately allows the freedom of religion. Freedom of religion.
Okay, so you're
A
saying
cult-
it's okay for people to kill themselves?
Listen to my speech, Hamble, before attempting to put words in my mouth. Occults
That's
are
what you just
terrible.
said.
Occults are terrible. However, some are not as bad as others. We need regulation against occults to protect people from suicides, deaths, and all the following. We should be able to protect our citizens from drinking the fruit punch. However, if they're just involved in an organization to seek peace and faith, we should not be hurting them, as our Constitution defends these people.
Okay, is there anyone
Can
like to
I
add to
add?
each other's
Can I add to
speeches?
that?
Hamble, you go first.
Okay, so the reason that this constitution was put in place is because of the suffering of other people. So you give these people the right to do things, and then you're saying that these cults are bad after the government was helping in the problem of creating these cults. Now you're going to
So you're
take
saying
people
the freedom
away.
of religion
I'm
is
not done
bad.
talking. After
Don't. Yes,
after
you may not object.
after the government helped create this problem, you're going to take the rights away from the people that you just gave the right. You created the Constitution after many have shed blood for it, and now you're planning to take away the right of the people after you just gave it to them. I think that's sort of tyrannistic and corrupt.
Hamble is twisting my words here. I didn't
Hey,
say
no,
we're getting rid of the
occultist, you may
freedom
not
of
object.
religion.
Occultist, you may not object.
I
Yep.
may object. If they can object to my statements, I may object to theirs. That's how a
No,
debate
it
is run.
It has been ended. The addition
Wait,
has been ended.
no, wait,
for
no,
This is
I had
a
a-
biased.
I'm
Vault
This
talking-
is
had
a
a question
biased
for
debate if you do
addition.
not let others object to the question.
This is. Let him.
I'm just gonna answer your thing. Don't worry. Alright, occultist, you may object him.
Thank you. Now, Hamble has been twisting words now. I did not say
Say
getting
your statement's
rid of
right
the,
then.
I did not say getting rid of the freedom of religion. I said regulation
Yes,
against
that's
the-
regulating the rights of the people.
regulation.
That counts as
Regulation
getting rid of
against
rights.
the cult. I said regulation against the cult that can lead to suicide and drinking the fruit punch.
Okay,
I
you
am
gave them
fully
that
allowing
right.
All other
You're
forms
going
of
to take it away
religion.
from them now?
This isn't taking away rights. It's
It is
making
taking away
sure-
rights. If you're
it's
regulating
making
through
sure
the
people
Constitution,
don't
that's taking
use
away a
powers
right.
in the wrong way.
Vault, don't you agree with me? You're taking away rights if you're going
He
against the
is taking away
Constitution.
rights, but I have a different
Okay,
stance.
everyone,
if
everyone
I may
sit-
go on with, if I may go on with my comment,
Yes,
I
vote
believe
one.
that
Wait,
that this
wait,
isn't-
stop.
that these cults aren't protected by the Constitution. This is not a religious group you go every Sunday. No, this is a organized terrorist group. This is not a normal religion. These are terrorists plaguing the minds of our young Strappel citizens.
Jeb Bush, you're really terrorists.
Westy, that video. That video, Westy.
So you're saying,
Alright.
if I may butt in here, you're saying, Vault Lord, that peaceful organizations that can be seen as the cults should be thrown out the window, rather than the ones that are actually harming our citizens, which I beg to regulate.
There are no peaceful cults. There are normal religions and cults. The people who are
Christianity
killing
can be seen as an occult by many. So are you gonna
Okay,
say we should
moving on.
regulate Christianity?
are you,
Okay, moving on.
are you
moving
calling
on.
out the regular
Vault Lord, I'll
Strappel?
have to give you a
Are
penalty.
you calling out Are you calling out the major?
Okay,
are you
Vault
calling
Lord,
out
you're
one of
getting
the
a
ma-
penalty.
This is a biased. This is the most biased debate I've ever seen in my
Yes,
political career.
I have to say that it's quite biased.
Alright, moving on. This is too much.
What's the next question, Westy?
I don't fucking know. I literally just got this. Alright,
Something about the economy.
there have been multiple influences with other countries on our country. There have been multiple influences from foreign countries. They have been influencing our people to move to these foreign countries and taking away our healthy men. How do you respond to this, Vault Lord? I'm not sure if I did this the first time.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Westy. I may
Oh.
ask for you to repeat that question.
Okay, there have been foreign influences on our country, attracting our citizens to move into these foreign countries. What do you have to say, or how are you going to prevent these propaganda from getting out to the people? These foreign propaganda. Occultist, you may speak.
Well, first I would like to say it's not propaganda, it's called a tourism ad. However, if you're attempting to take our young men in order to attack us, rather and not for beneficial for a global economy, then I have to say no, and we will block all trade, we will embargo you, and we will block all air, sea, and land transport to your.
Alright. Vault Lord, how are you going to respond with this new propaganda influence?
Iron will diplomacy. I think that our army is in good shape, and I think that our diplomacy is well, and I think we should do this with diplomacy, not with war, because an embargo could lead to one thing, and it could lead to another, and then we'll have a war on our hands. And I don't think we should be fighting a war with the current stances of our nation.
Alright. Hey, but what do you respond with this outlandish propaganda?
Well, I think the government is to blame for this. Once again, I'm just going to continue to state that is as it is allowed for the other countries have tempting offers to move away from this country. This country is very corrupt. I don't blame them for wanting to move away. As for a solution for this, I would plan to unite the people under one way or another through a policy or reducing the amount of immigration available. Our military is definitely strong enough to be able to defend our borders and against somebody. We could never go on the offensive. That would be inhumane to the other people. But our military is strong enough to defend our own borders and hold our own people from illegally crossing to another country. The solution could be stopped at the core, though, if our government made tempting offers for our citizens. But our country is not looking any form of tempting to any citizen.
Alrighty. Does anyone have anything to add?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Moving on to the next question. Well, actually, Hamble, is there anyone watching your stream right now?
Oh, I'm not streaming.
Oh, what?
I'm recording.
He's recording.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just streaming. So we could take answers from, civilians. Oh well. Most of our citizens are just not following the laws anymore because of all the country being torn apart in the recent years of war. These bugs, these pests. How are we going to enforce the law upon these people with absolute success, occultist? Actually, Hamble.
Well, a way that... can you repeat the question, please?
Many of our citizens are just skipping the laws because of our most recent tragedies. How are you planning to enforce the laws with 100% success?
Well, a way to definitely increase it, I don't know if we could ever get to 100% success. That doesn't look possible, but the ways that we can increase it is by making our police actually loyal to the government and to the Constitution that was put in place by this current government. That is definitely
not too late.
that was definitely a way that we can lower the amount of laws being broken. Another way that we could possibly stop it is to section off areas of the country that have higher crime rates and put those areas under martial law so that the crime rate is lowered until we get a decent police force trained and prepared to stop all people from breaking laws.
Alright,
That's called fascism.
you may not object, Mr. Female. Alright.
Alright,
surprise,
what, could you,
yes,
wait,
we have-
wait. Could you at least introduce Bimiel as he is one of the
Yes,
candidates?
I am
he should-
introducing Female.
Okay.
This is one of our extra presidential candidates. His name is Female. What is your opening statement or statement that you want to give before we get more into this? Just to be...
For the people, by the people.
I'm sorry, I just want to object here. Benil is a proven communist.
Hey,
He is a
stop it!
communist, and we should elect a communist into our state. Communism is a rat and a plague that should be extinguished with the fires of a republic.
Oh Lord, stop
That
it!
is-
Goddamn
that-
penalty.
I would like to respond to Vaultlord and say yes, Bemil is running under the Communist Party. However, we cannot extinguish these ideas as our Constitution, which you have clearly not read due to this debate and what I've been hearing, our Constitution guarantees the right of free speech. So we may not.
Communism is a terrorist organization.
Lord, you may
Read
stop.
my lips. Communism is a terrorist organization.
Oh Lord, you have to stop or you'll get another... Alright, now... Vault Lord, how do you respond with this crime, with the high crime rates and the avoidance of law? How do you respond to punish this, to extinguish this fire with an iron fist.
Better budget and a pro program. I
Pro
have
program.
my sorry, I was looking at something.
Okay.
And a program I want to establish to get our youth off the streets and into either a government position or an actual job that will teach them good positive values, good positive Christian values, and will endorse a free healthcare.
Okay. Free healthcare. Occultist, how are you going to respond to this skippage of our laws?
The crime epidemic needs to be fixed, class. I agree with Hamble that we need to install martial law in the worst areas for the time being.
I'm sorry, Occult, but
However,
you are wanting to establish martial law and put.
Lord, you may object peacefully.
This is a civil debate. This is a civil
Yes,
debate,
I
Lord.
agree.
You will be unmuzzled when you decide to become civil again. You have not been civil for the past 3 questions. We need to install martial law. However, we need to also increase the budget for our police and increase the training so they are well equipped for the time when this happens, and we need to enforce our laws swiftly and justly.
Alrighty. Mr. B-Mail, how are you going to react with your new government? How are you going to react to this epidemic of crime?
I mean, 80% of crimes are mostly committed because of money. Either because they're robbing someone or they need money. Obviously, breaking into houses, stealing stuff. So equal distribution of pay would help cause that, and I am going to help blame people, or not blame people. Help equal pay to everyone.
Hey, I gotta go. Yeah.
Final
Okay.
statements?
Final statements before we'll just end this.
Can-
Hamble, you may go.
Okay, I'd like to make the statement and announce the Workers United Front as a coalition against Occult and Vault Lord. Workers United Front is a coalition of my party, Beammeal's party, and Kronos' party. We announce a coalition to destroy the
I gotta
corrupt
go.
government against Occult.
Alrighty. Vault Lord, you may go.
I think that all the opposition is a sham, and that I am the one and only candidate who supports a republic, a good democratic republic. They are a Workers United Front. That is legit communism, and I do not support communism. I am not a communist. I am for a republic and for the values of this great nation. Thank you very much. Good evening, and vote Vault Lord 2018 for a republic.
But
May-
Meal, you may go.
He has his mic muted.
What?
There
You
he
may
is.
go. Final statements.
Final statement. Now that the coalition is announced, Beammeal.
I mean, like, by the people, for the people.
Okay.
Don't tell.
I would like to end this debate on a high note. Val, my opponents have clearly formed a coalition without any strong leader, as all 3 of them are still
I am
running
the strong
for
leader.
the position of president. All 3 of them are still running for the position of president. You may not speak during final statements. This is not something you may oppose. I have to remind people of the simple facts. Under
The
my
government's
government,
corrupt.
Under my government, we were able to install a new constitution that protects the rights of people. While we may have had some ups and downs over the years, we have finally been able to strengthen and create a government in which we can all agree is a true democracy that we all love. Vault Lord promised he would never run again. I'm muting Westy. Vault Lord promised he would never run again, and yet he's running again. He lost the election, and he's not a man of his word. How can we trust anything he says in a debate if he can't even promise things? He's clearly just a power-hungry animal. Hamble is a disgraced Supreme Court judge that was impeached. He should not even be running, as he doesn't even have any experience for the position of president. Beammeal is a blatant communist. Kronos is a blatant fascist. I have improved more rights. I've improved roads. The economy has had massive boost under me. Though we've had more democratic liberties ever before, I installed the right to a militia, something never ever before has been created. And as such, the people we've gone for the longest time of peace in our country's history with the lowest crime rates. Thank you, and that is the debate.
I mean, like, I've been gone for 3 months and nothing's changed.
Okay, is the video done?
Yeah, hold on.